Are we live?
Hi, everybody. Yes. Oh, I see what you put in chat now. How dare you? How dare you? We are not going to be late unless Steve
See?
screws it up. Oh, and then
Wait,
I did. Well,
I'm not the one pushing the
okay.
buttons.
You. Hi,
And you
everybody.
didn't. See, I even said you didn't. I even typed it in chat.
I did. Yes, I see that. I appreciate the grace. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. So, before we get into our typical start of the show chit chat, just a reminder to everybody in case you haven't taken the trouble to read the title of the
Haven't
live
paid
stream you're watching.
attention.
We are doing, as always on Wednesday, we're doing a watch along. And this is Deep Space Nine week. So we are watching Deep Space Nine, Season 5, Episode 5, The Assignment. So go ahead and queue up your copy of that episode in whatever form you have it, whether you have it on DVD or you're watching it like Dana and I on Paramount Plus or some other streaming service, or you have a pirated copy, whatever. I ask no questions, but queue it up and have it paused at 0 and ready to go. So when I count us in a little bit, we can all watch it together. But before we get to that point, how are you, Dana?
I'm healthy, Steve.
You had to undergo a routine medical procedure today.
Yes, I did. Not routine for you yet.
Not yet, but it is looming in my future.
So, yeah.
And it all went well.
Yes. So let's go ahead and say that now we're going to talk about something else for at least 30 seconds because that will give people a chance in the chat to say, I really don't want to know anything about about what, are we allowed to say it?
It's you're the one who had it done. It's not up to me if
but like, you know, our audience might, I mean, it is pizza night, Steve. Maybe, I don't know, we should be.
do you want do you want me to say it?
Well, it's your channel.
Do I have your but you were the one who underwent the procedure. Do I have your
Yes,
permission to say
you
what it
have
was?
my permission. I'm not going to sue you under HIPAA or nothing like that.
Okay. Oh, it's the one where they stick a pipe up your ass.
What's it called, Steve?
The pipe ass. It's a colonoscopy. It's one where they have a little camera on the end of a pipe and they cram the pipe up your ass.
Like crammed. I mean, I think they used Vaseline or something, as far as I can tell. So, okay, so now, Steve, for
Yes.
30 seconds, how's your week been?
Oh, my week has been tremendous. I've been very, very, very productive and got a lot of writing done, got a lot of editing done. I finished my Wednesday video for next week. I just need to have that to finish it overnight tonight while I'm asleep, have it finish upscaling and all that stuff. So it's been and then I'm writing the next Best Batman Ever video, and that script is going along very well. I probably won't finish it tomorrow because tomorrow is going to be mostly working on my next Star Trek retro review. But
Because
if I get the
tomorrow is
review
Thursday.
done, tomorrow's Thursday. But if I get the review done in good enough time and I still feel like doing some work, I might write on a little bit on the next Best Batman Ever script. There's an outside chance I might have it done to shoot this weekend. But if not, that's no big deal because I have other stuff ready to shoot this weekend. So
You are
it's all good.
you are on the game, as it were.
I am. And I believe that's been over 30 seconds.
Okay. Well, nobody said anything.
Nobody has a problem with the talking about the pipe up the ass medical procedure. So
Yeah, I have no idea how that went. I mean, other than
you were kind of out of it, right?
Literally out of it. I was completely unconscious. So that went really well. I actually do tend to, like, if I have general anesthetic through the mask, that will make me nauseated. So when I get that done, they'll give me a scopolamine patch and some anti-nausea like medication. Like there's a I guess the pill is the Dramamine, the pill, or the patch. Anyway, they give me the patch and the pill, but they didn't have to do that because the medicine went in through the IV, the anesthetic. So, and I want to tell you this.
Yes.
My nurse anesthetist's name was Steve, and he did
Really?
a great job. And I have to be honest with you. His mustache is better than yours. He had a very, in fact, I think there might be a competition in the anesthesiology department because the anesthesiologist who came in to talk to me before the procedure also had a very fine mustache. His actually curled on the sides. Not kidding. Really nicely done. Like after he left and my mom and I were in the room together, she was my driver.
Right.
She was like, I wonder how long it takes him to do that each day. I'm like, probably not much. I was thinking he must cover it up at night in case, so it doesn't get smudged. I'm like, probably just sort of touches it up every now and then, but pretty much keeps it. It was like the walrus type mustache. Like it was thick and just really nice, but also really nicely shaped. Just really nice.
All right.
So
like a 19th century bare knuckle boxer.
Yeah, very much so. Possibly
a pugilistic mustache.
Yes. So and yes, they said that my innards look so good I don't have to come back for 10 years.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Look at you.
No abnormalities at all. Yay.
No abnormalities.
I'm actually normal in some way.
I was just going to make
Whoever would have thought.
I was just about to make a really mean-spirited joke in that in that fashion. Is anybody else seeing that my lip sync is off? Sean says my sync is off, but it looks my settings are all the same as they used to be. So if anybody else is having that problem, let me know. Oh, Sean, you mean my Deep Space Nine shirt? I mean, I've had a version of it for years. This one that I have, this red one, I just got a few months ago, but I have a blue one that's the same graphic that I've worn for years. So no, it's not new. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Thomas in the chat says, hello, long-time watcher, first-time poster. Glad that you could join us. Very happy to have you.
Snake Cat, that is brilliant. I'm actually because they changed my
semicolonoscopy.
My other one. So I'm going back to my they changed. I had an appointment, my just well person visit with my primary care provider on Monday. And I had to have blood drawn. So like I got stuck here twice and here twice, and you can see where they finally got me.
Oh yeah, I see the
So yeah, I was kind of worried because I'm like, oh, I'm going under, which means I get an IV, and I'm just like, I just want to let you know that I can be apparently because it had gotten better since like it was just awful after chemo like years ago, but it had been getting better to the point that over the last couple of years they usually got me on the first stick, not Monday. And then I warned the RN who was working with me in the prep room. I was like, I just want you to know. I said I've been drinking lots of fluids because you kind of gotta. That's all you get. And I said, on the other hand, the process can dehydrate you. So I don't know what you're working with. And I said, and so the veins are great, and also they roll. And she's like, yep. And you also got what's it called when there's little the doors, tubes, anyway, the valves. Thank you. She said, you got a lot of valves in there. I'm like, yep. She's like, you're just a real troublemaker. I'm like,
you don't know the half of it.
And of course my mom's over there, nodding and saying and like, telling stories on me too.
Yeah,
apparently like stuff from like, I have no memory of this, like from first freaking grade when we were doing, I don't know if we were copying out numbers or we were doing like basic arithmetic or something, but apparently we had to do a worksheet on Monday, and we had to do either the same worksheet or a similar one to, as a teacher, I understand this, to reinforce understanding to kind of get it to sink in on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, I apparently decided, no, I've done it twice. I've proven that I know how to do this. I ain't doing it again. And we were gonna, it was near Christmas time, we were gonna make little wreaths, little handprints. And I went over to the arts and crafts table, and the teacher said, Dana, I don't have your paper. And apparently I said, oh, I must not have given it to you. Went up, handed it to her with like one of the problems done, and that was it. It's, Dana, you have to finish the worksheet before you do the craft. And my mom said she was in the room at the time because she was the room mom on Wednesday, and I'm there writing like this, and I'm writing like this. Finally brought the paper up, and she's like, the paper was like destroyed. I have no memory of this, none whatsoever. Well, but I'm like,
you know,
well, I guess I got what was coming to me with this. I got now.
Every time you tell me a story about little Dana, because you and I have known each other for a long time, but I didn't know you when you were a little kid, right? Every time you tell me a story about little Dana, it makes me feel so good and so happy, because it just reminds me that you have apparently not changed at all for your entire life. Because all the time I've known you, you've gotten taller. All the time I've known you, and apparently stretching back into your childhood, you have always had this quality of, once you have made up your mind, there's no fucking talking to you. Like you and no, of course you know what I'm saying. And like, and I can have 100 different reasons why you should change your mind and do something else, and you have 100 rebuttals to all of those reasons.
I thought it through.
That make perfect sense to you. And I'm just like, I'm not going to win this. I'm you're going to do what you're going to do. You're going to do what you're going to do, you know? So yeah. Okay. I want to, David C. Drake is on your side too, by the way. He says, Steve, that's only because Dana's always right. Well, that certainly would be what Dana would say. I just want to acknowledge a few things in the chat. Air One Fire, glad you could join us. Staying up late. Good to see you. Jason McLean, hi, nice to see you. And 255 AD earlier on said, you know, the Voyager ep where the doctor has to work in a hospital where they dictate care based on social worth. Today I got recommended a clip of that titled Trek Predicts Obamacare. Well, and they say that the algorithm doesn't know, you know, what videos to serve you. Like, obviously, yeah. I remember that Voyager episode, and yeah, it's like the right wing paranoid fever dream version of the Affordable Care Act. You know, everybody in this country, I'm sure, who's old enough to remember the debate over Obamacare in the early 2010s.
Absolute nonsense.
Death panels. They're going to murder your grandma, you know, and it's like, wow, you fucking
they already exist. It's called the Insurance Claims Department.
Yeah, exactly. Almost every...
Except they're in it to make a profit.
Pretty much every bad thing about the Affordable Care Act that they were trying to use to scare people was something that was already being done regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Just, it was at the whim of private insurance companies.
For profit.
Like, the only major change that Obamacare made to healthcare in this country was that it introduced some subsidies to make health insurance more affordable for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And it forced insurance companies to cover more, you know, things in their coverage. That's really and it was I mean, we're better off with it than we were without it, but it was not a radical change to the system. Like, it's still a private insurance dominated system, but my God, you should have, if the wailing and gnashing of teeth from right wingers, especially just common folk who had no idea what the fuck they were talking about. They were just repeating whatever they heard on Fox News that day. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. I've had some of, you know, rural Georgia, a lot of our community is conservative, and I've had students earlier this semester say, you know, did Obamacare, you know, do anything for you? And I said, well, I've had health insurance through the state like since well before Obama was
Yeah.
known, like nationally, let alone, I mean, he was a senator at the time that I started working. And no, I take it back. That was after the 2004 DNC. I started working down here in fall 2005. So it was after the speech.
He had given his speech at in 04,
the one that had everybody go record scratch.
The one the one that literally half the country was like, let's elect him president next, and then we did.
Yeah, and then we did. Yeah. I mean, it's really, I mean, talk about speeches that make a difference. I mean,
well, yeah. One of the most consequential political speeches. Yeah.
So I was like, so I've already had, health insurance that was more than what was required, coverage for Obamacare. So, for the Affordable Care Act, I said, so not for me. I said, however, my brother who, and I didn't go into this detail, who works for Google, to my knowledge, still through a temp agency, it's got to be at least a decade at this point. Anyway, I need to ask him if that's changed. If he's actually, if he's still working for them. I mean, he hasn't talked about, working for somebody different, and if it's still through that agency and how all of that works. But yeah, I mean, he's been a temp for like a long time consistently. And that really
for Google, a company that you would think could afford to bring him on board on a permanent basis if his job is
they could totally afford to buy out his contract and have chosen not to, because again, profit. So I mean, presumably, I mean, it's not that they don't like him, because they continue to work
still be there.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, and now, did it make a difference for you?
Yes, actually it did, in the sense of the Medicaid expansion. Actually, just in the last 2 years is the first time in my adult life when I've actually had to pay for private health insurance. And luckily I'm able to afford it, like it's not a hardship. But before that, and when I was still married, my wife, we were covered through the Medicaid expansion in my state, which was funded through the Affordable Care Act.
And another reason that I was not and would not have been affected here in Georgia.
Yeah, because Georgia didn't expand it. Because because Republicans don't, Republicans as a party, I'm sure there are individual Republicans who maybe have the occasional pang of conscience about this, not enough to get them to vote for another party, but they might have a glimmer of an emotion about it. But the Republican Party as a group does not care if poor people die. That's a matter of policy with the Republican Party. They don't care if poor people die. And one of my strongest points of evidence for that is the number of Republican-controlled states that just said no thanks to the Medicaid expansion as a part of the Affordable Care Act. The federal government said, we will give you money to expand Medicaid and cover more people of low income in your states. And they said, no thanks.
Yeah. I'm going to quibble a little bit, because I do think that they care if some poor people die. They care if exploitable workers die. But when it's kids or old people or the unemployed, then they don't care. And those are the ones who are most likely to be affected. But yeah, absolutely, they want to keep those workers who are desperate to hang on to some semblance of a job so that they can continue to have health insurance. Yeah. They want to keep them dependent on that system as much as possible. Breathing.
I forget what I was watching. I think actually, you know what? I think it was John Oliver. It was Last Week Tonight, because the most recent episode was actually about Medicaid. And they were talking, they were playing clips from like conservatives who were saying like, well, you want people, you don't want to, it's basically if we give the poor too much, then it'll spoil them, and it's like, it's good to it's good when you have to work for something, you know what I mean? And
it's good when you have to work for something, but it's not good when you have to suffer.
I'm like, you're talking about you're talking about basic health care. Like it's not, I mean, it's not like an extra feature for your new car. You know what I mean? It's like it's not um something like a an add-on that would be like a convenience. It's like the tires on the car. It's it's something that should be, you shouldn't. Yeah, okay, if you want to say, well, if you want to have certain luxuries in life, if you want to have above and beyond your basic necessities, yeah, you have to work for that. We can't just give that to everybody. But healthcare is like a basic human need, and you're saying like, well, you should have to work for it. Oh, I don't,
Yeah, no.
I
And
don't, yeah.
and not only that, there's so much research that shows that, maintenance and preventative care, things that are typically covered at 100%, like, it is literally a public good. Like, even as a public teacher who I believe deeply in public education, passionately, y'all know, anybody who's been here know.
Sure.
I believe even more strongly and passionately about public healthcare, because, like, I mean, when I call home and a parent or guardian says, well, so and so hasn't been there because they've been sick, I say, okay, and they're saying, he's going to get caught up. Da, da, da. What did it? Get better first. Your health is most important.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, if you're sick, you're not going to learn as much. And, God forbid, if you die, you're not going to learn nothing. And secondly, and not as importantly, but affecting me more directly, if you come to school sick, you're much more likely, I am more likely to get sick because of you. So if you can go to the doctor and get an antibiotic so that you're no longer infectious and you feel better, that's good for you, and it's good for everyone else around you. Like, a healthier populace benefits the public. It is literally a public benefit. Other people benefit besides the person getting care. Yes, we all benefit from having an educated populace, but like, when other people don't make you sick, you benefit from their healthcare.
Yeah.
I don't understand how
and
people
it's
don't
not
get this.
And it's the same for pretty much any program or any practice that would improve the lot of the poor in society.
Yep.
Improves society for everyone. I mean, like Kara mentioned in the chat, it's the abhorrence from people on the right to just give poor people money. Right? Like, the problem is poverty. Poverty is a problem because we live in a society where people have to exchange money for necessities and goods and services, and poor people don't have any money. So you want to make their poverty less onerous on them. You want to lift people out of poverty, give them money. It's not
that hard, and it's
not a complex problem.
Repeatedly shown. Or give them the things that they need. If something, you can for issues with homelessness, you can provide funding, which just funding. Guess what? You know what they usually use it on? Let's think about this. If it's enough, housing, getting housing.
Yeah.
Quite often, that's most often, like, ridiculously, or provide access to housing. Either way, the money is more effective because maybe their primary need, their immediate need, is something to eat, and they can grab that, and then they can also, work towards housing. But yeah, oh my goodness, yeah, it's not that hard. It's
really, it's made out to be a lot more complex than it really is. And 255 AD, about my statement earlier about Republicans don't care whether or not you die. Do you mean elected Republicans or the rank and file? Both. Yes. Because the rank and file vote for the politicians. And like I said, I'm sure there are individual Republicans. I'm sure there are individual Republicans who occasionally will have a moment of self-awareness, a moment of I think even longtime dedicated Trump voters, some of them will occasionally have a moment of clarity before their prejudice and their fear closes back over them and they resume their previous activities. But there's a glimmer of conscience in there. Not for everybody, I don't think, but for some people, there's a glimmer of conscience where they're like, they have that "are we the baddies" moment. And then they don't follow through on it and they don't change anything. They just go back to what they were doing. But they have that moment of, oh, but it doesn't sink in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean both. Okay. Shall we watch this episode of Deep Space Nine?
Let's go for it.
Okay, so I'll let you do the standard spiel of what we're going to do and how it works. But first, just to remind everybody, especially because we have a couple of people who are new with us, queue up on your end the episode, which
Deep
is
Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine. Yes, Deep Space Nine, Season 5, Episode 5, The Assignment. Make sure you have that up and ready to go and paused at 0. And then Dana, would you like to explain how this works?
Okay, then you find out where the little play icon is. It's right here. And you hover your indicator, your cursor, whatever. And for me, it's the cursor because I've got my desktop right here. Or whatever, on your phone, you just get ready to tap play, because Steve's going to count us in, because it's his channel and he's in charge. And he's going to say 3, 2, 1, play. And we all press play on play. And if something happens, you get the little spinning wheel of death or whatever, you can just look up here-ish someplace. And we have a little time clock that shows where we're at, and you can move your little scrolly thing. Or, you don't have to, because mostly it's going to be us watching the screen. I tend to also watch the screen. I've got the chat up here too. So, I'll respond to people in chat, and then people will tell me that I missed things, and I will apologize with a modicum of sincerity.
That little iota of sincerity is important.
I am, a little bit sorry that I missed things, but what you say is important too. At least as important as what's going on in the show.
It's important to be able to detect that there's at least a tiny part of you somewhere that is genuinely sorry.
Somewhere.
It
didn't come out with the colonoscopy.
I was going to say it's up there where they stuck that hose earlier today. Anyway,
I think further up, maybe it's in my heart. I do have one,
Oh.
I said maybe.
Okay.
Back
maybe. Oh. Okay. Okay, here we go. You ready?
All right. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to count this in, and when I say play, we all hit play. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Also, I have captions on. That's also helpful. Pat, it's season 5, episode 5.
Yeah, The Assignment.
They asked episode number. Chief O'Brien's extra choice. Yes, please. Caitlin, maybe we'll get a beauty shot of the breakfast. Oh my gosh, this is really having a lot to do. We're talking about food and the waste extraction system.
Yeah. I think she's a little less than half naked.
Yeah, that is. Maybe she's a customer. Now, see, that is insincerity.
No toast?
Well, he didn't ask for it.
Well, he should have.
Yeah, there's really, it's not very comfortable. He didn't ask for hash browns. He asked for corned beef hash, which I think has potatoes in it, though.
Yeah, oh yeah. Corned beef hash is delicious, but I'm just saying I want some toast with my eggs.
I don't know, man. You put the you slits the yolks open and then you put the hash in it.
Mix it with the hash. Yeah, that'd be good.
I'm hungry now. Her bum's eye trees. Wow.
Go to your room.
Oh my goodness. Did they give that poor child a mullet?
No, it's pulled back.
Oh, it's pulled back. Okay.
It's pulled back.
Okay. Just from that angle, it looked like it was cut.
Caitlin's got it. Then you put all that on toast. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
See, but the thing is, it's still new to him. He's learning.
He's just, yeah, he'll figure out the tricks.
Wow. Didn't realize you were watching. Or maybe he did, and that's how it goes.
That's just part of their arrangement. It's, you know. She's going to sell me out.
She don't have to. Look, shut your yapping hole.
Wait, the baby?
God. Why are we supposed to hate Keiko?
Because people are weird.
Okay. I'm very confused.
What are you confused about?
Why we're supposed to hate Keiko? So
because some fans are weird misogynist douchebags. And they just don't like the character.
Oh,
I
okay.
I made a whole video about it some years ago.
About this episode in particular?
Well, I don't think I mentioned this episode, but just
okay.
Keiko in general, and just, you know, how she's a perfectly fine character and people don't like her because they're fucking weirdos.
Okay. Is this the assignment?
This is the assignment.
Okay, so there's an assignment.
The assignment, well, Miles has to do what the entity possessing Keiko tells him to do. So that's the assignment.
Okay, because Snake Bit Cat said, I'm looking forward to seeing if Dana grades the assignment pass fail on a curve. or some other. See, the thing is, I don't know what the parameters of the assignment are.
Well, the parameters are what happens in the episode.
Yeah, I'll find out, I suppose. Well, it sounds like we have cool people here who think Keiko's awesome. I do. I think, she's not actually a trained teacher, but I'm glad they decided to stop showing that part of the space station. Very, very glad. Or Kara, the plant wife. Because well, that's interesting. Caitlin, do they even have a teacher at this point, or are they just learning from computers?
I think that, yeah, Keiko closed her school, so I think they're just...
So it's not just she retired and got replaced. Like,
it's independent learning.
Oh, yay. Ding dong.
You think I'm joking? I'm literally telling you the truth. I'm not a good doctor.
Left the patient on the operating table to bring you a plant.
Well, because he forgot earlier, and he knew if he didn't do it right now, he'd forget again.
The entity is very condescending. It's amusing.
Yeah. And by a lot of cooking to do, I mean telling the magic food hole to make the food.
Oh, Kara, exactly. Yeah, this has always been, just, go after their kids. It's one of my favorite parts of Air Force One. How sick do voles get anyway?
Apparently quite sick.
Oh, golly.
What?
Anything unimportant.
Yeah.
Wonder what's going to happen.
Don't bother me with your piddling little problems. Boy, he is fucking his search history all up. 25580, because the party was already planned ahead of time. Keiko had already planned the party, and the entity doesn't want to change anything that would raise anybody's suspicion.
Or their hackles. No raisin stuff now.
Well, especially since O'Brien is going to be having to, do stuff in secret. Mr. I love the ads, exactly.
The TV birthday song.
Yes, exactly. The copyright status of that other song is still somewhat in dispute, so
Yep.
Oh, look at that. He's 1 year old. Molly wanted a whiskey too. I brought more booze. Thank God.
Dax is my kind of woman. She's like, you have good food. I just made a special effort. I'm trying to figure out how old I am. Happy birthday from DS9 to you. I don't know if that's a tune, but we can make it up.
It sure would be funny if this discussion about power wraiths turned out to have some relevance to the story.
I think it would be much more interesting if it were the fungus. I mean, given how she went to beautiful and amazing fungus, I'm like, oh, please tell me it's a sentient fungus that has sent spores
exactly.
into her.
She's been Last of Us used. Man, this sucks. O'Brien's best friends plus a couple of random people come over to his house for his birthday. He can't even enjoy it.
Loser.
Give me back my wife.
Done everything for you, dear.
255 that's true, and that's true in real life too. Like, most people don't notice what other people do. You know, like, it's kind of egocentric to be like, I don't want anybody to think I'm acting suspiciously. Like, most people don't give a shit what you do. They don't even
Nobody
notice.
cares, Miles. But you're back, Kara. You can catch up with the time codes if you need to.
Yeah.
Mr. I love the answer like that.
Oh, just like my actual marriage. Oh, I hate this.
Mr. I love the answer. I would program someone else's replicator to sing C is for cookie. It's good enough for me. Every single time. Well, I'm glad you're back, Kara.
I'll be right there. I've got diarrhea.
Again.
Forgot I was possessed, huh? Mr. I love the ants because he wasn't in the fire caves.
Just your wife. $2.55 eventually.
Exactly. Same way you fall asleep when you're a kid on Christmas Eve. Always fall
or the night
eventually.
before a colonoscopy.
Or that. Who are you, my boss? It was a perfect flatback bump. Well, maybe not a perfect flatback bump.
Do what you're told, Miles. Caitlin, nice.
Jason, yeah, you know, it's a little bit, now that you mention it, it's a little bit like when Mick Foley used to do the Nestea plunge. Can you kill her? Well, 255 AD, then there really wouldn't be much of a story, would there? I mean, really, the rational thing to do would be to tell people what's going on and to you know, elicit their help. I could use a man like you, Rom, and I do mean use. Culpable deniability.
Liz, it also would have to make her unconscious, apparently. Yeah, and also, yeah, faster than how split is the second.
Yeah.
Also, props to the nurse who did the IV stick. They got me in one, which was really good.
Hey, hey.
So yeah. Techno mumbo jumbo.
I'm gonna have to kill Dax. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to kill Dax. Yes, who would do such a thing?
I can't imagine because I know.
I'm shocked.
So surprised.
$2.55 at ease. O'Brien's got shit to do. He can't be worrying about his fucking kid, okay? He's too busy. He's got shit to do.
Yeah, like save his wife's life. Also that.
If the evil entity possessing his wife wants to watch the kid, then hey, consider that a bonus. Go ahead, watch the fucking kid. Someone who's Irish. It's not like we have important things to do or anything. I see now, starting a family was a mistake. Sorry, Rom, you're expendable.
Well, also Molly is Caitlin Molly is leverage. I mean, if she kills Keiko, or if the being kills Keiko, that contact is lost, and we don't know if it can move just from one person to another. Otherwise, Molly would be talking in very weird ways. Honestly, like I said, a child actor probably couldn't manage. Yeah, Kara, which is why she.
Yeah. Can I help you, Otto? They owe us money.
When did you start knowing things?
I'm this episode's designated exposition dispenser, Chief. Drama. Hey, buddy.
Saw that coming.
The old one punch knockout. Oh, here comes Thor. Vilcata, remember, Odo is a solid at this point. Gotcha. Yeah. There can be only one. Oh, right. I'm still in a lot of trouble. I can explain. Exactly, Kara. Oh. The end.
Caitlin, I'm going to guess that's a good point.
So,
oh, Caitlin, yes, the perfectly mid-boiled eggs. Yes, thank you.
So what'd you think of that one?
I liked that
I'm so glad.
one. I mean, so often O'Brien suffers, but here he was the perspective character, so we really got to focus on his suffering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, and Caitlin, yeah, having a runny egg in ramen is one of my favorite ways to eat ramen. Yeah. Sometimes I'll do
there are other ways.
Well, sometimes I'll do like a I'll cook the egg with the noodles, and it's like a scrambled egg mixed in with the noodles. I like to eat it that way a lot too. But yeah, a couple of sunny side up or over medium eggs so that it's got that nice runny yolk laid on top of a
Carrie,
bowl
you
of
don't do
ramen.
Sausage. Well, I don't do sausage and bacon at the same time. It's either one or the other. And with bacon, it's got to be crispy, like crispy bacon.
Sausage and bacon at the same time is all right, but it always struck me as a little bit of an extravagance. You know what I mean? It's like,
They're both
uh,
very, very, very salty. So, yeah, I'd prefer to have like a set of one or a set of the other rather than a little bit of each. And then if you get too much, then it's just too much salt and it just doesn't taste good anymore.
255 AD. I mean, I don't think you're being too harsh. You're expressing an opinion. I think, I mean, I don't know.
Exposing. I don't think that exposing the entity would have helped Molly at all. If anything, that would have increased her risk. Yeah.
I mean, the entity said, well, if you tell anybody about me, I'll kill your wife. But that doesn't mean that the entity is going to immediately kill Keiko as soon as it's exposed. It might decide, you know what, fuck you, dude, and kill Molly.
If it thinks, Miles is going for somebody, it's going for Molly first.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we don't know if the entity can jump from one creature to another.
Right.
So, and I don't know if even it knows if it can do that. We don't know how it happened. So, Molly is totally expendable. Keiko is less so, because then essentially you lose your bargaining chip. All right. So I've started squeaking.
Okay, so then let's pull this thing into the station and play Wordle, and then we can all go our separate ways. Okay. So we're going to play Wordle, and I know we have a couple of people in the chat who aren't usually with us or have not been with us live before. And if you have never played Wordle with us before, the way this works is this is today's Wordle from the New York Times website, and Dana will take the lead on this, and we'll sort of decide.
Thank you, Steve.
What what words we'll be guessing and so forth. But Dana is not actually seeing the Wordle board. She's just going by my description of it. And
so don't mess it up.
So don't mess it. If you have not played today's Wordle and you want to play along, we welcome that. Please feel free to put your guesses in the chat. The only thing we ask is if you have solved today's Wordle, please do not give away the answer. And also please do not give us any hints, because when you cheat, you ultimately only cheat yourself.
Yeah. So. I mean, it just stops the game early. The guesses are all done. And we didn't get to figure it out. You don't get that rush of woohoo.
Yeah.
I mean,
the feeling of
you at
superiority.
least get to click it in there and see that it tells you that it's right. I just get to, say, oh, I guess that was it.
All right. Shall we do our typical starter?
Yes, please. Heart. H-E-A-R-T.
H-E-A-R-T. Heart. And, okay, not bad. Heart gives us an H, an E, and a T, but all of them are in the wrong place.
Okay, let's go for lions. L-I-O-N-S.
Lions gives us an I in the right place.
Okay.
And that's it.
And so you said H-E and T in the wrong place.
H-E and T in the wrong place, and an I as the second letter in the right place, yes. But no A, no R, no L, no O, no N, no S.
I'm going to guess then that it's I-E-T-H. That would work, correct?
Yes. Yes, it would.
Unfortunately, Keith is not a word. Oh, Caitlin, good guess with tithe.
And also you don't spell Keith I-E-T-H. It's E-I-T-H.
Oh, it's E-I. Caitlin, that's really good. Tithe would work because the double T.
Ooh. Yes, tithe would work. Yes. That's a good guess.
It is.
Do you want to try that, or do you want to?
Everybody's coming up with that. Yeah, let's go for that.
You want to go for tithe is the consensus choice.
Seems to be.
Let's try tithe.
T-I-T-H-E. I don't know if David is betting or I think he's tithing.
He's tithing 10%. Okay, let's see if that's it. That's it.
Yay, tithe. Team us!
We did it again. Nice guess. Nice guess, everybody.
I cannot see the board. Keith, K-I-E-T-H. Sorry to all the Keiths out there. It's hard, y'all. Okay, so I guess hopefully we'll see everybody back next week, because you do not have Ask Wade this Friday.
Nope.
But next Friday. So next week we're watching Poirot again, right?
Yes, and actually I forgot to look it up. Let me see what Poirot we are watching next week. We are watching, let's see. The last one we did was Marsden Manor. So next week we will be watching Poirot Series 3, Episode 7, The Double Clue.
Yes.
Ooh,
I like this one. Yes. I like this one. I may have to go and look up the story and reread it. This one's one of my favorites. This story is one of my favorites. I love it.
Awesome. Caitlin says, by the way, I've been saying Kenya all week. Yes, in the manner of the characters from Poirot. Yes, Kenya.
Kenya.
So yes,
almost
there we go.
Like the grain. So.
Which also doesn't look from the spelling like it would be pronounced that way, and yet.
So, don't forget, down in the description, charitylinks.page, we have a number of friends who could use some financial help if you are in a position to do so. Helping people is good. There are also, I think, you've also got some links to some nonprofit foundations in there, do you?
Yes.
You still do.
Indeed.
So there are also some options to be helpful in that way as well. I think so, HB High. I think this is where we meet Rozakov for the first time. God, I love that woman so much.
I can hardly wait.
Arguably my favorite Christie character.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely some argument because the actress from 13 at Dinner, who's probably another Jane, she likes naming characters Jane.
It's a common name.
So it's really not as much as people seem to think, especially not now. Anyway, so yeah, next week, Poirot. Don't forget charitylinks.page. And don't forget, now, not this Friday, but you can get a head start on next Friday by joining the channel somewhere down here. There's a thing that you can, buttons that you can push, etc., etc.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you can go to patreon.com/Steve Shives and support Steve's channel that way. And if you become a patron or a channel member, what?
I said you sure as hell can. I said you sure as hell can.
Okay.
What do you think I said?
I thought I didn't know, and I was concerned. I had concerns. So, but if you become a channel member at any level, you have the opportunity to tell Steve what to say. Let me tell you, that's all kinds of fun. So then on Monday, you'll get an email or something.
You can ask a question.
You can ask that he will read live on the air next Friday.
I will read your question. I love that you chose to characterize it as you can tell me what to say.
You can be like a paw wraith.
In a way, yes.
In a way, sense. So Kara, I don't know that I've seen it, and I might be kind of picky because 13 at Dinner is another one of my favorites. I love that story so much. Oh, so good. So yeah, the film version would have a lot to live up to because I love that so much. So yeah, support Steve's channel. Very, very helpful. Art gives meaning to life. Something.
Very helpful to me.
Did we miss anything?
I think that about covers it.
Yes. Thanks so much for joining us today, everybody. I had fun. I had fun, Steve.
I'm glad you liked this episode. I like this episode too.
Me too.
I know, right?
I'm getting more into it, and I've recognized the dude at the bar.
Morn, did you notice his little bib at the end when he was sitting at the end eating his breakfast? No. I guess he had he had a bib on.
I didn't notice that, but I recognized the guy. That's not nothing.
Yeah,
that's Morn. A lot for me. All right, thanks everybody, and hopefully we'll see everybody next week.
That's right. Bye, everybody.
Good night.